Thank you for hosting this here in this gallery. I interned here and I always knew that this gallery was where a lot of experimental work happened, and I'm really liking that the experimental now bring people in, to just submit whatever they feel is to the conversation. But the piece I did was this one, and I'll start by saying the term Blitzkrieg is a German name for lightning war, and it's usually a term for a war which completely and utterly overpowers the enemy and their defenses. And I think that what happened in the first days and weeks of the war in Ukraine was that we in the West, we were subjected to a certain blitzkrieg of information thrown at us from all different sides. One of the things that scared me the most, which was the part of this painting, the anxiety that I put in this painting, was that a lot of opinion pieces on newspapers, a lot of people on social media were beginning to advocate for a no-fly zone over Ukraine that would be enforced by NATO forces. That would have meant that the United States and Europe would have been in direct confrontation with Russia, making the chances of an escalation much, much, much higher, which could lead to a nuclear exchange, of course. And there was a piece that was being shared by the Huffington Post, even though the piece was written in 2011. The piece that they wrote was called "A Small Nuclear War Might Actually Be Good for Climate Change," which I know. I read that and people were sharing it, and one of my friends in Facebook, she was a complete anti-weapons, anti-war liberal during the Trump years, and now all of a sudden she was saying, let's send them the biggest guns we got, let's put the no-fly zone. And I think that a lot of people got hit by all these disjointed bits of information coming from everywhere, some of them conflicting, some of them causing opinions that are made out of fear, out of instinct, because everybody is afraid that, the war in Ukraine might spill over and all that. And I think that I put my anxieties in here of having this disjointed bits of information, obviously the eagle representing a NATO confrontation with Russia, and having letters that don't really finish off. You can't really read much into it because we can't really read much into anything due to the overbearing amount of information. And I think if I have to be thankful to, I am thankful to be given this here, but if I am to use it correctly, the time that I have to say is that we in the West have a responsibility to be very critical of the news sources that we read. Ukraine has the utmost right to defend its territory, defend its people, defend their lives and their well-being. And we can only help them better by being critical about the news that we read and being more conscientious about the policy that we are promoting with our government as how we deal with a very intense and complex world problem. So that would be my little bit. I hope it didn't take too much time, and then thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.